Hey everyone, Rob Van Dyson here. As you can tell, I'm up at Hubble Creek again. And today is the 2nd of May, 2021. I haven't uploaded a video in several weeks. I've actually recorded several, but just never uploaded them for various reasons. Please excuse me if I'm just a little off today. There's been a lot happening in my personal life. And some of it will get announced on this channel, hopefully here pretty soon. And others will probably never get talked about openly on this channel. I do believe in not airing dirty laundry, and even if it's not dirty, some laundry, just shouldn't be aired. When I was growing up, my grandparents had a clothesline that had multiple strands going across. It was actually in a square shape. And I remember when I was living with them, both they and my auntie and my mom always taught, there are certain items of clothing you hang on the inside, where anyone who happens to wander by isn't just going to go ahead and see your drawers. And I do believe that even as we get into a more and more public society, that not everyone needs to know everything about you. Anyway, that was just a little side rant. But I was listening to a podcast today, and the topic of resiliency came up, and the person was talking about plants, and trying to find resilient plants that as different things happen, unexpected things happen, or even things that you can see coming, but you can't really do much about. And I was listening to that, and it kind of got me thinking about resiliency in life, personal resiliency, family resiliency, and all that kind of stuff. And, I've had a lot of stuff happen to me in life. I am sure that most people can say the same thing. If you were to sit down and compare notes, some people had to be resilient in things that were much harder than anything I've ever had to deal with. And there are other things that I've dealt with, other people would be, man, I'm so glad I didn't have to go through that. Of course, you also have the variable of certain things I shrug off that devastate other people, and vice versa. There are things in my life that I would consider very, very hard. Things that it took me a while to overcome. And other people would have just shrugged that off. So, with that, being in mind, it's the fact that life will happen. And we will get curveballs. And we will have that case of we're stuck in a track and we see a train coming right towards us. And that we need to set up both our lives, but especially our minds, so that we can be resilient in those situations. And not just ourselves, but our families, our finances. I belong to a couple of different organizations. Well, not say organizations, I'll say communities that are very big on preparedness, because life is going to happen. And so there's always kind of been that culture. One of these communities I grew up in. Another community is one I joined later in life. And, you know, I've tried, not always very hard, but I've tried to have that, and it's helped us out. There's been times where we get hit by something, and it would be devastating, but because we have a little extra stuff squirreled away, it wasn't nearly as big of a hit as it could have been. I'm not sure if that is a mink or muskrat or what, but there is a very interesting animal over there. So, sorry if I seem a little distracted right there. One of the joys of actually filming outside is some of this nature that you can actually catch. It's actually really cool. Anyway. But I think one of the parts, we all hear about resiliency, and you need to be resilient. And I've talked on this channel about having backup plans and not putting all your eggs in one basket, etc. But also, I think one of the parts that's probably less known, or less talked about, I should say. I think we all intrinsically know it, but it isn't always talked about, is not putting yourself in positions where you need to be resilient. One of the situations that I'm dealing with right now, 100% my fault. 100% avoidable, and it's my fault. And I'm now in a position where I'm going to need to be resilient. And in some cases, it's one of those things where the choice has been taken out of my hands. In what particular way am I going to need to be resilient? And I have an outcome I'm hoping for. There's no guarantee that that's going to be the outcome I get. And honestly, it's stressful. It's, painful. It's all that kind of stuff. If I were to go in and deep dive into all the emotions I'm feeling, including kicking myself, I am sure that, it's like, the analogy that's coming to my mind is root beer. There's a million different brands of root beer out there. They all taste a little bit different. But, you say root beer, and most people will have a general idea, even if they never had that particular brand, of what it's probably going to taste like. And if I were to go into details, I'm sure most of you would be able to say, yeah, never been in that exact situation, but I've been in situations where I felt similar. But my main takeaway is when it comes to resiliency, when it comes to preparedness, as Mr. Miyagi in the original Karate Kid once said, best way to, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but the best way to deal with a punch is to not be there. And this is a punch I didn't have to be there for. But I am. And so now I'm having to be resilient. Where it would have been much better if I had looked. This is, based off of decisions that I knew weren't smart. Based off of decisions that, honestly, before this came to my head, I was really thinking, I need to change this decision. I need to make choices and make it so that this can't be a problem. Waited little too long. And it's a little bit more frustrating because I was actually already heading in that direction. And now the choices are out of my hands and I'm going to have to be resilient. I encourage you to look at your life, the decisions you're making, and both figure out how to be resilient. Develop that mental toughness. It's not something that's taught in school. It's not something that's talked about a lot. A lot of people have the mindset, if I don't have to be resilient, someone else will come and fix it for me. And sometimes they will. But, all you have to do is look at history where other people have come in and fixed problems for people. And sometimes the fix is as bad, if not worse, than the solution. All you have to do is look at a natural disaster and look at people in shelters. So many horror stories come out of there. But I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But look at your life. Figure out how to increase your own resiliency. And most importantly, do things, make decisions, position yourself so you never have to be. That's too strong of a statement. Something will always come up. But don't make stupid decisions where you find yourself in a position where you have to be resilient if you didn't have to be there. Alright, with that, I'd like to encourage you to like, subscribe, comment down below if you have any stories you want to share of how you're resilient, how you position yourself in such a way that you don't have to be resilient. I'd love to hear them. Please put them in the comments down below. And with that, as always, I encourage you to examine your life, examine your dreams, figure out what you need to do to get to where you want to be, and take action on it. Good night now.